I am a graduate of IBA. I've done my bachelor's and master's in business administration from one of the top institutes in the country. I started my career right after graduation in the Islamic finance industry, specifically into marketing, communications, business and product development and strategy as well. I've worked in Mizan Bank for 5 years, from 2003 to 2008. From then on, I left that institution and I joined Standard Chartered Sadiq, where I worked for roughly 2 years. And then after that, I joined Dubai Islamic Bank, where I also worked for approximately 8 years in these similar functions. I joined the Pak Qatar Takaful Group just over a year ago, and we will talk about that organization as well separately. In addition to this, I am also part of various academic and marketing positions. I am a part of the board of faculty for Comics Institute of Business, a very prominent institute in Karachi. I am also part of an honorary member in the IBA's Center of Excellence for Islamic Finance. Various associations and various projects. I work there for the promotion of the Islamic finance industry. In addition to that, I am also part of State Bank's national initiative for promotion of Islamic finance literacy, where all the banks and the industry players work together for promotion. I am part of one subcommittee above a steering committee of CEOs. Finally, I am also part of the trade community's apex body called FPCCI, Federation of Pakistan Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Over there as well, I've served for several years as vice chairman for the Committee of Islamic Banking and Takaful. So this is a brief background about myself. Currently, I'm working, as you all know, in Pak Qatar Takaful Group. Pak Qatar Takaful Group was created just about over 10 years ago. We just celebrated our 10th anniversary this year. This is the pioneer and largest Takaful group in the country. It is considered a leader not just in this country, but our Takaful business and finance model is South, and we provide advisory services to various countries all over the world, from Europe, Far East Asia, US. We not only function as a business, but we also provide our knowledge services for the promotion of Takaful. Our main view in the company is that Takaful should be provided to everyone. Takaful basically is a substitute, an alternative, a Sharia compliant alternative for insurance. All right. Pakistan, as you already know, may know, only has hardly 1% penetration of insurance. Even the overall finance industry, based on the population, is less than 20%. So immense population opportunity rests for the population. 98% Muslim population mostly is hesitant in pursuing conventional means of finance. They all want, which research time and again have proved, they all want, 80% of the population wants Islamic modes of financing for themselves. For our company is mostly Qatar state-owned stakes, and other than that, there's a German stake in this company as well. We have an extremely strong financial backing and have one of the highest credit rating in our segment. And not only are we the largest in the Islamic insurance and the Takaful sector, we are the third largest even in the insurance sector out of 30 plus players in the market. And one of the reasons what our company is known for is also our Sharia compliance. Our chairman of the board for Sharia advisory is Mufti Taqi Usmani. He is considered one of the founding members of Islamic finance in the world. And that also establishes a certain amount of credibility. Apart from that, we are known for our technological innovation, our staff. We boast of more than 2,000 staff all over the country. Our presence is in more than 70 cities with our own branches, with 70 plus branches, and we have 3,500 bank branches all over the country, of mostly 13 plus banks, where our products and services are also distributed to our targeted customers. So this it gives you a brief perspective of our company. One of the three things that our Pak Qatar Takaful company focuses on is first the vision. Okay. Anybody who comes here comes with the vision that they're all serving for a cause, and that cause is for the Islamic finance promotion, for the Takaful promotion. And one of the best things about any employee who wants to come here is that they want to come and make a difference and also make a halal living. Okay. Mufti Taqi Ismail Sahab, in one of his famous speeches, once said that if you keep the right niyat for working, your 9 to 5 halal job also becomes an ibadat. Where every minute that, even right now, that I'm serving here and you're serving here together, is a service for Sadqa Jariya, and that we're getting sawab for all this intent on cause. That is one of the paramount motivators, which is our vision. Set by our Sharia board chairman. The other thing, obviously, is our goal. We have strict year-on-year goals on which to achieve our main vision of providing takaful for everyone. So our business goals are all aligned so that all of our staff have one common goal and one shared objective in terms of business and service for that. Finally, obviously, compensation makes a difference. So compensation is also a main reason why people come here. They love, apart from the first two things, it is also market competitive. As I said, money is assessed, or financial compensations are assessed based on three things. If you're talking about entrance, we offer one of the best management as well as branch trainee entry level compensations that are at par with the market. As I said, that compensation has been kept competitive as us being belonging to the private sector, number one. Number two, for professionals, obviously based on their excellence and based on the company's view of promoting excellence, each professional is hired based on the value it carries from the market. And based on that, this company has a track record of retaining a lot of good professionals throughout the year. We have one of the best takaful practitioners in the market, and a very, very low turnover. A lot of people love and are loyal. Once they come in, most of the people are loyal here. They never leave. Okay, so that is one of the things that motivates our employees in terms of even money, as I say. Further, we pay compensations not just in monthly salary, but also in performance bonuses and other cash awards as well for performance excellence with time, from branches to the head office, back office. Okay. Non-financial motivators, I've already mentioned the vision and other things. Notwithstanding that non-financial motivation of working for a cause, we provide health coverage to the family, to the parents, or to the spouses and children of our staff. This includes health care, OPD, dental coverages. It also covers life, death benefit coverages as well, protection against the family in case the staff has an accident or dies, unfortunately. Apart from that, a lot of training and foreign trips are done for learning, as well as even for serving performance excellence. That is also a non-financial benefit, but it is one of the most paramount reasons why people love to come here. They know that this company promotes people to go on trips for learning, whether local. One of the best places here in Pakistan, maybe you have beautiful places in the northern areas or other places where you can enjoy good, relaxed foreign learning and training trips, as well as we make a lot of foreign trips abroad as well. Apart from that, we also take care of certain activities, entertainments for the staff, and that all of these are a lot of examples of non-financial benefits, which is why people don't want to leave. Meeting career goals is an evolving concept. Okay, it means that for entry level staff, a certain career path and then quarterly reviews are done for them so that they learn, and there's a whole set of programs set in place so that they can get the maximum learning from that. There's a learning curve for entry level. We invest in those staff, whether at the branch trainee officer level or at the head office management training level. So we invest in those programs and give a learning curve to our staff so they can come up with time, and they are coached and they are trained in the classroom as well as on the job so that they can perform and learn to the maximum and come up the junior middle management level as quickly as possible. All right. Now, for that, you have cross-functional committees. All right. So, a lot of our company goals are based on projects that require cross-functional working. Okay. And one of the it is a constant challenge that people from other areas of fields and departments, they come together, they have ideas, they have some storming and conflicts and discussion, but that in itself helps them in coming together. And as I said earlier, that there are a lot of classroom trainings as well, in which different cross-functional teams come together, they learn together to work together, and then there's on-the-job tasks that they have to work to perform, sort of like working in NASA, where if you have a different spec of departments, engineers and scientists and technological people and academic people, all working together in the concept of going to the moon again. So that's how it's done. And team building exercises are also done through even off-site activities over a period of time. Okay. We have several off-site and on-site activities for staff. Notwithstanding, some of them are professional training activities. For entertainment purposes, we have plenty of, as I said, local off-site training programs and entertainment activities, as well as foreign trips as well. So it could be a boat ride to Karachi Harbor for a group of off-site activity of cross-functional top-performing teams, or it could be a foreign trip to Azerbaijan or Turkey, for that matter, for the same off-site purpose. We hold cricket tournaments as well, and other sports activities as well, and we even have get-togethers for families and staff members on a frequent basis. All right, as I said, I started working in 2003 as a permanent professional, and I became a manager. My first subordinate was given to me in the year, just the end of the year 2006. All right, so technically I became a manager in the year 2006, 3 years after I graduated. Okay. A little over that. So since that time, I've been serving as a supervisor from one to in 2006, from one subordinate to now more than five people here. And as I said, I have other. I am also associated in other institutions as well. So at any given time, I have 15 people reporting to me in various projects. So that your question was that since how long I've been a manager. So that the answer to that question is almost 11 years. Okay, I've thought of 6 things that really are the ingredients for a good, successful manager. One of them is leadership. Leadership proves to be a very important factor that we should keep in mind while talking about this. Secondly, I feel is the passion. We really need to have passion to be able to talk about whatever I'm conveying. It comes with a charisma to inspire and your your subordinates then lead by passion. Means leading also by example. So that is one of the reasons where any manager who has subordinates, they will follow him if he exhibits that charisma of motivating them. Then the third is vision. If you have a vision, you know very clearly, and the people working under you, your team members, your colleagues, they know that this guy has a plan, and he has plan A, B, C, and they realize and they see, and with a track record, they spend a few months, a few years, and they realize that this person can really take them to places. So that vision is also important for a manager. Fourthly, fourth thing, which in my mind is a priority as well, is empathy, which is missing in a lot of organizations. But successful managers in the world that we live in today need to relate to the team members, the junior team members as well, on a personal level as well. It's like I always tell my team that this is your second home. Okay. In your home, you take empathy to your brothers and sisters, to your mom and dad. If you're married, to your wife and kids, your grandparents, you empathize with them because they're all important members in that household. So this is also a household. Just like you can't tell your sister, if you don't like her, you're fired, go get out. Similarly, you cannot indulge in a practice or culture where you treat your team members like the Sahab culture that you saw during British rule. All right, you have a Sahab who's an administrator who's treated like royalty, and all the other subordinates are treated like subjects of that king and royalty. That concept has long gone now, especially in the new millennia. So empathy plays an important part where, yes, just like you have house rules in your home, you have to follow those rules or you'll be grounded or be penalized with consequences, or you'll be rewarded if you perform well. So similarly, the same concept works here as well. But the important part is being showing empathy, that you understand each one of your team members as one of your household members, and if there's a serious problem, you don't leave them in the lurch. You provide that support to them so that they can come out of that quagmire. It could be just a fix, they could be lost, and then you fix that through time. So empathy is an important part. And then finally is the concept that has proved well for over 100 years for any successful organization and managers, is the power to balance empowerment and accountability. All right, so if you task your team member, you empower them, give them that leeway and leverage after counsel, that this is what you need to do, this is your job, these are your tasks for the day or for the month or for the year, and anytime you need support, then you show empathy, that look, I'm empowering you with this, I trust you with this, if you need my support, I can help you in any way possible, and at the same time you hold them accountable, that look, if there's a breach of trust or if there's incompetence, then you coach them and tell them that look, I empowered you with this, I told you that this is how it's going to be done, I even told you that if there's a problem, you come to me, and despite that you did not you failed on this specific thing, so you will be held accountable for it, either due to incompetence or due to corruption or some other negative connotation. So positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement also move along together on those lines as well. All right. So these are the key 6 ingredients that you asked me as a manager. What are the contributions? Yeah. I became a manager in 2007. Before that, I was just an employee. I was a subordinate to bosses, all right, to people. I was very lucky. I had very good line managers at the start of my career. And because of them and because of my experience in 4 very good organizations that I've been associated with, my learning and style has evolved with time for the better. All right. So one of the styles that I would tend to think that have worked for me is that I haven't changed a lot. I've already mentioned the 6 ingredients on which my style is based on. But I think one of the paramount styles of management that I have held together is, again, being a very strong, keeping a very strong follow-up in my management style under the empowerment and accountability tier, and also being able to learn to be humble. All right. I think one of the reasons in the past where certain management styles which may have worked earlier, decades ago, are now changing in the new millennia because of the empathy concept. And because of that, I've learned with my the leaders that I worked under that in order to exhibit leadership, it should also come with humility. With great powers comes great responsibility. So the management style is very much like that. You, in a very humble, empathetic way, you exhibit your management leadership styles in managing your team members with the right with structured, no ambiguous, terms of showing empowerment as well as accountability, and the ability to work together as a team, gelling as a team. And you can only do that when you have that empathy in place, you have the vision in place, you actually show leadership rather than just bossing. That there's a core difference between being a leader and a boss. Actually, boss is now, over a period of time, in the new age, has been seen as a negative connotation. Very few people use that slang boss anymore, because when you say boss, it doesn't give you respect anymore. In fact, a true leader is given respect if there's absolutely no barriers. Obviously, you may give certain amount of respect because you've earned that respect as a leader, rather than you impose it with a stick. And as an administrator, like I've just given you an example of colonial concepts, those colonial concepts are fast dying. Yes, there is very, very high demand for for downplaying mediocrity. You cannot accept mediocrity in the corporate culture. You demand excellence, but demanding excellence doesn't really mean that you have to be a disciplinary person to impose it. You just have to show by example that the leader knows exactly what's going on the ground. He knows how to get his hands dirty. He doesn't hesitate in getting his hands dirty, and that's why he shows his team that, look, this is how you get your hands dirty and get the job done. And they follow and they do it. And then it doesn't necessarily mean that the leader has to do it then. We just showed them the way, and they're all getting those things done. So that is the core thing that I believe is what is required in a management style. I already mentioned all the things that they should have. If they don't have that, then obviously they fail. I've already mentioned those 6 things: leadership, passion, vision, empathy, the control of balancing, empowerment, accountability. And then I guess one of the things you can say is that maybe they're in the wrong place at the wrong time. They probably wanted to be in some other place working. They probably didn't, they didn't realize, because at times you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
I never thought when I was at your level as a student in a university, I never thought I'll land up in Islamic bank or an Islamic insurance company or in the Islamic finance industry. That is life only gives you that opportunity to search and find your own way. But maybe I've been in this industry for more than 15 years. Maybe after a few years, maybe if I had become, when I became a manager at 2007, 2000, I was disgruntled. I wasn't happy that for working in that specific place. That is one of the reasons why people fail, and they need to search and switch rather than just earn money. They're working just for money. They're not actually liking what they do. It's very important that work is not just, you don't treat for any manager or any team member for that matter working in a salaried corporate professional environment, you should love what you're doing. If you don't love what you're doing, then it's wasting time. You're just buying time. Even if your line managers are letting it go as well, even if your leaders above you are letting it go, that you're doing well, but inside you don't feel that you're at the right place. You need to find your higher calling. And since those people don't find it, these are those people who fail as a manager. Okay, my concept to any employee or any team member working under me is I don't see anybody as underperforming. I always try to find what is it that makes them tick, finding various ways to see which is the best way in which for him to excel. So first things first is that you need to coach, and coach. Understand who you're working with and how best he can gel in with your department, with your division, with your company, with your industry, with your world. How that person can elevate into really achieving his dreams and your dreams as well, and you feel proud that you contributed in finding him, helping him find the way. If he remains lost, and if there are certain ways where you feel that he is a liability, either because he is not being able to find his fit in that specific place, department, or function, or he is creating a negative disciplinary issue or any other areas which is a no rule, then you have to accommodate in some other place. You have to tell them to let go. That is the worst case scenario. Most of the people who, and I can say this with absolute conviction, with my track record, that even just a few days ago when there was a board meeting, I was given I was being mentioned as an example that Waqas Durrani was given a task for a certain to work on a certain project, and all those people under that specific project were considered to be a liability, and they were suggesting to replace them all for that specific project team. I told them to give me time. Within 3 months and then 6 months, the same people who were being considered a liability were being given accolades. They were being awarded that, look, these guys are really outdid themselves. They did extremely well for the company. And a good leader never takes credit for the task. I could have taken credit. And I've learned that from my teachers and my mentors, that if the team wins, you automatically win. If your team members who were considered a liability are being considered assets and champions, then you're already a champion. You move to the next level, because these people will take leadership and you elevate to the next step. So that's how it's done. And as far as very hard choices and hard times where people had to be let go, despite warnings, that unfortunate experience I've also done. But at any given time, that person was given ample opportunity. He was even given ample coaching as well as final warning, and he dug his own grave, basically, despite the empathy and humility and everything exhibited. So these are hard choices as well at times in life, where you have to understand that a certain person just doesn't want to come out. So you have to accommodate him somewhere else. So yeah, I was involved in that example as well. Three things that I always keep in mind. Every person, no matter what, is human. There is no such thing as perfection, but you always pursue excellence. You never accept not anything else but excellence. And the best way to do it is to learn from your mistakes. As I said, I was lucky that my mentors gave me that learning space. There was a you have to develop they developed a tolerance for mistakes for me. So I was very lucky that the amount of mistakes that I did was was a leeway. They tolerated it so that I don't repeat it again. And then you're quick to adapt. If you've been given that humble opportunity of being of people tolerating your mistakes, then what you need to do is also be quick enough to adapt to making sure that you learn from that mistake and you never repeat it again. I think that is one of the things that you should handle while making if I have ever made a mistake in the workplace. And as I said, mediocrity should not be accepted. You should learn from the best players for the pursuance of excellence in order to also feel good about yourself. You will always make mistakes. You will always find people and players and team members making mistakes. Organizations that evolve and become successful are those organizations who embrace two things. They embrace the tolerance of that learning curve I mentioned earlier for team members making mistakes, but still based on that trial and error, they do come up the learning curve. They're becoming top performers, and you gave that learning curve advantage. Your line managers to the subordinates were trained to give that certain leeway for them to make mistakes, learn from them, and then come on top. All right, and the most important thing in any corporate world career ladder is the ability to learn from your mistakes, number one, and to also not be resistant to change. All right, any person who thinks that something done 15 years ago should remain the same, or in this digital age where devices and inventions and things are happening every other day, the ability to embrace change is all the more important. Where in before our lifetimes, all of our lifetimes, typewriter used to be the most important device of the corporate world. Yeah. Then you had computers. Now you have smart devices. Maybe in a few years you might even evolve into something better. All of these are tools and places and engagements in the corporate, and even the corporate culture is changing at time as well. You don't have large industrial complexes anymore. You now have apps where you have people working from home and other ideas. Even companies have become smarter, leaner. They give advantages to people to work in different ways through their apps and ideas and generate from there. So things are evolving. So you should not ever be resistant to change. You should embrace change for the positivity. I think that is one of the core things you should learn in your mistakes.
In case if any employee leaves the organization,
yeah.
So does your organization conduct any exit interviews, or is there some procedure?
From the organizations that I've been associated with, all of them had exit interviews. I think it's a standard corporate culture now. Yeah. Again, as I said, learning from mistakes. An organization also learns from its mistakes. If, firstly, they will try their best to retain good, loyal people. I think successful organizations are all those organizations that make sure that after the first teething and learning period, if they have a very good performing team member, an employee, they should hold him and retain him as much as possible. But if there is an exit interview, if they have accepted the resignation of an employee, then they'll ask them candid feedback questions after handing over and taking over of all the things are done with that rotation. They ask the employee honestly that what are the problems. In most cases, 90% response is that there aren't any problems. I'm elevating to the next level. I think I've contributed as much as I can over here. My higher calling to another organization with more exciting challenges and opportunities lie with me, and I will always carry my memories and my achievements for this organization as well. So that is one of the most successful interviews as well. But that's not Not always you have hunky-dory good responses. Sometimes you have negative responses. Sometimes, and 90% of employees leaving, this is a research, you can check in Harvard, a 75-year-old research done by them recently shows that 90% of the reason for leaving is not, the employee doesn't leave because of the organization. He leaves because of his boss, his line manager. As I said, I've mentioned this several times in this interview, that your place of work, your workplace, should be treated as your household home, your second home. So if you are unhappy with your home, and the primary reason is with the head of the house, all right, in which case the line manager who that staff is reporting to. So if he feels that it's no longer heaven to work in that home, it's like hell, so he will leave, all right. Otherwise, I mean, these are the key reasons in an exit interview that people have, because the line manager has failed him. He feels that in a negative context, he's leaving because his line manager has failed him.